Hi, I'm Pav.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to the Top 10 of Anything podcast.
Let's start the countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
When you have killer good looks, amazing physique, talent that knows no bounds, it must be tough. Well, talking from experience, I can tell you, yes, it is. But Brad Pitt has given some iconic, amazing and moving performances. From Hunk to Babylon, the actor-producer has been a star for decades. Here's Neil with 10 Brad facts.
Thank you very much, Pav. So here we go. His full name is William Bradley Pitt and was born on December the 18th, 1963.
You finish this now!
He majored in journalism at the University of Missouri.
I'm not saying you're not mentally ill. For all I know, you're crazy as a loon.
While trying to find acting work, he had multiple jobs, including a limousine driver.
You condescend me, man.
He was only in Los Angeles for 7 months before getting an agent.
What's in the box?
He went to an acting class with one of the strippers he drove around and met the famous acting coach Roy London, which he says set him on the path to where he is now.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
His first on-screen kiss happened with actress Shailene McCall during his 5-episode run on the primetime soap Dallas.
I'm running away with your wife. Great.
His first film role was in The Dark Side of the Moon in 1988.
Anybody accidentally kills anybody in a fight, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter.
Brad turned down a role in Apollo 13 to be in Seven.
Is there no one else?
Brad has been banned from visiting China due to his role in 7 Years in Tibet.
Sound good? Yes, sir!
And in 1999, Athena Rolando broke into his Hollywood home where she dressed in his clothes and waited for him. She received a court order to stay 100 yards away from him for 3 years.
Did have a shade?
Well, there we are. Nice timing as well. Yes, it's all about Mr. Brad. Is it Bradley? Is his name Bradley?
Well, William Bradley Pitt.
William Bradley Pitt, yes. So it's all about Bradley Pitt.
I think he's more of a Bill Pitt.
Is he? Okay. And joining us is one of our wonderful top heads and long-time pod friend. It's Kim. Hello, Kim.
Hello.
It's good to have you.
And Brad Pitt fan of.
Yeah, well, who isn't? Who isn't?
Well, I was going to say, who isn't?
I forgot to ask. Where's your call center headset this week?
It is here, but I'm trying to be without it.
Oh right, okay. You're weaning yourself off it, are you?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Have you been driving around with it on and
No.
going into shops?
No.
Just talking to everybody with it on.
It's become an awful habit.
That's always cool though. It looks really good when you have it on. I'm surprised you haven't got it. Okay, so we are talking about Brad Pitt. So where do we stand in regards to being fans of Mr. Pitt then, Kim?
I've always been a fan of Brad Pitt, and not only for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Obvious. But
yeah.
you know, he's just so talented. So talented.
What about
And
you, Neil? Oh,
Len's,
sorry.
I think done a lot of films, played a lot of different characters, which is why picking just 10 films is quite hard.
Yeah. Neil?
Yeah, I agree. He's more than just looks, isn't he? I mean, as a man, he is a very attractive man, isn't he? He's a very good-looking man, and he's 60, isn't he?
I was going to say, he's one of these ones that will grow old very, very gracefully, won't he?
Yeah.
But regardless of that, he's a great actor, and he also takes some good choices, like brave choices. He doesn't follow the sort of the straight and narrow path. I like the fact that he wanders off and tries something new.
Yeah.
And I just think he's a great actor. I mean, he had such an impact, didn't he? To me, when he came in on Thelma and Louise, I didn't sort of know him before. And, well, we haven't looked back since, have we? It's just been phenomenal.
I put him in the same sort of, in the same, or on the same shelf, if you like, as someone like Johnny Depp and that Timothy Chalamet as well. They are very, very good-looking men, but they don't necessarily go for the Hollywood style, you know, hero flicks. Heath Ledger, I think, is another one. They always like to choose very interesting things to do, and sometimes will you know, not make themselves look particularly glamorous in certain roles. But I think with Brad Pitt, he's one of those guys that is just like he'll throw his hand at absolutely anything, and we'll jump up in, you know, we'll appear in movies even if it is for like a split second for certain things, just for a laugh or whatever. So yeah,
and that's the other thing about him. He seems to have a really good sense of humor, right from like back when he joined the Jackass Boys and did a load of that. I mean, even that Lost City, I don't know whether you've ever seen that. It's not really a Brad Pitt, but I think he's hilarious in that.
He is hilarious in that.
He's the best thing of that movie.
Yeah,
I must admit, I thought it was just a typical run-of-the-mill, almost like one of those 90s rom-coms. And the bit that Brad Pitt is in is like he's playing against type. He's playing to type, isn't it? So what people think he is, this long-haired hunk of a man that can do anything. But I didn't particularly like that film, but I thought Brad Pitt was...
No, he was good in it. No, I'm with you.
And again, I think most of the movies, he's the best thing in all the movies that he's in, no matter how big or small his role is.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting. I'm sure we're going to have a few duplicates on this one, but it's going to be interesting to see what everybody's favourites are. So, Kim, kick us off with your number 10 Brad Pitt movie.
Okay, already been mentioned on the podcast this evening. I'm starting with Thelma and Louise at number 10. Like you, Neil, this was my first real introduction to Brad Pitt. I think we've all had more than one, for me, definitely, our Thelma and Louise moments. And we've all...
with a Brad Pitt type, Kim?
With Brad Pitt, yes. For its time, obviously, it's looking back now, it's quite dated, but it's still a movie that I still will turn to if I feel the need to watch something like that.
I still think it's a great movie. I hadn't seen it for a while, and it was on the TV, and I joined it sort of 10 minutes in and watched the whole thing. I'd forgotten how brutal some of it was.
Some of it is,
isn't it? I'd really forgotten. But what a soundtrack! And what
as well, yes, yes, definitely.
Confession time with me. I've never seen it all the way through. Thelma and Louise, never seen it all the way through.
You need to watch it. It's a masterpiece of directing. Ridley Scott, isn't it?
Yes, it. I mean, it'd be nice. Hopefully, the women make it to the end. Is all I'm sort of hoping.
Who knows? You don't see them, do you? You don't.
I don't know. I've never seen it. I don't know what happens.
I won't tell you.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Won't tell you what happens, but they might have. They might have.
I'm sure they did. It's a feel good, fun family film, isn't it?
Yeah. Thelma and Louise, The Return, The Revenge of Brad.
Okay, so that's your number 10 then. Neil, what's your number 10?
So mine is Babel or Babel. If anybody seen this, he starred with Kate Blanchett. It's directed by the guy that did The Revenant and Birdman. It's a story of 4 families that are affected around the world by one single event, which is the event that happens with Kate Blanchett and Brad Pitt. Now, it's not going to be comfortable viewing for your first time. You need to be you need to enjoy subtitles because there's a lot of subtitles obviously going around the world. But it's one of those films that plays on real high tension, and there's a bit in the desert. I won't say too much because if you guys haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil that tension for you. But there's a bit in the desert that raises the tension like you will never believe. And Brad Pitt and Kate Blanchett are just superb in their little roles. It's just a very clever film. How all the 4 stories around the world connect to this one isolated incident. Brilliant film.
There you go. I always thought it was a movie about the making of Baby Bells. I read it wrong. So it's a little bit more serious than that.
Just a little bit. A little bit. All right. But there is cheese in it.
Is there cheese in it?
I don't know.
Okay.
But this was... sorry. I was just going on a footnote. This is the sort of film that... This is where Brad Pitt takes the risk. This is his, like you said, Johnny Depp moment, or whoever you'd like to compare him to. This is the sort of film that he really takes that risk, because he's not a glamorous role. It's not a starring role, really.
Mm.
So well worth it.
Right. Okay. We'll just we'll carry on. So it's my number
you.
10, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My number 10 is a movie I only saw about 2 months ago, I think it was, but there was clips of it coming on TikTok all the time, and it's Moneyball. I don't know if any of you have seen Moneyball.
Yeah, not
No,
for a long time.
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, it's I mean, whether you're a baseball fan, I think you have to be a bit of a baseball fan, or at least a sports fan, to sort of get the full idea of it. But Brad Pitt is great in the fact that he's a coach of a baseball team that they've brought him in to try and do something, but with like no money.
Yeah.
And he's got all of the old guys that are his scouts telling him these certain players that they need to go and get. And he also brings in Jonah Hill from Superbad, who's a guy that knows how to crunch numbers and just look at the stats. Just purely, he doesn't care who the player is. So everything that these scouts that have been doing the job for like years and decades, they're saying to Brad Pitt, we need this type of player and this player, and he's going, no, I want to get this player and this. And yeah, but he's 35 years old, he's got a dodgy knee. Yeah, but he does the job, he does the numbers that we need. And obviously he gets a lot of kickback from his manager and stuff like that. But it's the way he is very focused and very on purpose for what he needs to do. And he doesn't care what everybody else says. And in the end, it kind of sort of works out, if you like. But it's a great performance from Brad Pitt because he doesn't take any shit from anybody. You know, he goes into the changing rooms after his team have lost, and they're all dancing around, and and he just throws the biggest paddy that you've ever seen, throwing things around, saying you shouldn't like losing. It's not right. But I would thoroughly recommend it, anybody that is a Brad Pitt fan, to just go and because it's a powerhouse performance, and he's really one of those ones where it's him against the world. But then it became a thing that football teams do it now. They do the Moneyball kind of experiment where it's not necessarily buying the best players, but it's the best players for your system as opposed to expensive players. And a pre-Marvel Chris Pratt, I think was it? Was he pre-Marvel?
Wow.
I thought, he probably would have been 2011, so he would have been,
yeah. So,
yeah.
So I'd thoroughly recommend it.
Is
go on then, Kim.
I was going to say, just quickly on that note, I can't remember. Is it based on a true story? It's that one.
True story.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's even John Henry, someone playing John Henry, who's the guy that owns the company that owns Liverpool Football Club. At the end, talking to Brad Pitt. So.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Okay.
Ooh.
Kim, your number 9, please.
Okay, my number 9 is Burn After Reading.
All right. He's great in that, isn't
he? I don't know, Pav, have you watched this one?
I have, but I did. Yep. I thought it was going to be about the city that's not far away from us. I thought it was Burn After Reading. Yeah. That's what I thought it was. I thought, Brad Pitt's in a film about a time near us. But it isn't.
Why did you want to see it burn? Why?
I don't know. But I have seen it, but it was a while ago that I saw it. Yeah.
It's a bit of a quirky one, I think. Not maybe it's one that you need to watch a couple of times to actually get it all. But as Neil will vouch, Brad Pitt is just so funny in it. He plays a kind of a camp guy, which is quite unusual, not what you'd expect from him, but he's very funny. And of course, the lovely Tilda Swinton is in it.
And the lovely George Clooney as well.
Yeah.
But okay. Yeah. So, it did take me a couple of times. I watched it when it first came out and then have re-watched it quite recently. And I enjoyed it more this time around than I did last. So it might be a slow burner kind of thing.
Yeah, I've only watched it once, I must admit.
I've seen it a couple of times. It's Brad in his lycra and his lovely dancing.
That's right. I remember that bit. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's typical sort of Coen brothers fare.
Yes,
isn't it?
It is.
It's not going to be a straightforward narrative. It plays with everything, but it's good fun. Isn't John Malkovich in it as well?
He is.
He's the bad. Yeah,
he's the bad guy.
Yeah, that's right, and he's funny as well in that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good film actually.
Yeah.
Okay, another one to re-look at. Go on then, Neil, number 9.
Ocean's 11.
Oh, that's my number 7.
Oh, excuse me. But Brad in this is just, this is when he's cool Brad.
Yeah.
And I know Pab's going to love this because it's eating.
Oh my God, that's all he does is eat.
Yeah, well, he said it on purpose, didn't he? He felt that he had nothing to do in the scene, so he decided just to eat every time you see him. But
And he's another good eater. He's like Kevin Costner. He's a good eater. He looks good when he's eating.
Yeah, well, eating and acting. And everything he eats looks tasty as well.
Yeah, those big prawns. He has those big prawns, doesn't he?
He does. But it's also a great film, especially because I saw this before I saw the original and then went back and watched the original and how god-awful that was. And then I realised that Steven Soderbergh made quite a classic little heist movie, a great heist
Very
movie,
good.
in fact. And I would put it as a classic because, I mean, I don't think the sequels quite stand up to the first one. Seemed a little bit pointless, the second one. But yeah, this is what you call a. I mean, this is really is a. What's the word? What do they call it? A
movie?
No, when there's all of them together. My mind's gone blank.
Ensemble
Film, isn't it?
It's the closest thing I think that has come to something like a Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, where they've taken stars that are big stars of the day and they brought them all together in the same kind of movie. But yeah, I mean, Ocean's 13 I thought was really good with Pacino.
Yeah, that was good fun.
That was a good one. The second one was just all over the place. But yeah, I thoroughly
But they all
recommend
had great chemistry, didn't they? All of them together was just such good chemistry, and it was great fun to enjoy them on their romp.
Didn't make your top 10 then, Kim?
No, I struggled after 11. I have to admit, I think it should have maybe been a one-off kind of thing, and there were so many other great people in it that I just think to pick Brad out of that would have been not good. But I enjoyed it, but not, like I said, after the initial one.
Right.
I think it lost it a bit after that.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And then why they did Ocean's 8, I have no idea. That
No,
was just ridiculous.
It was just, I mean, it was just the same old formula. It was. I mean, it wasn't bad. I wouldn't give it a being bad.
No,
it was just, again, pointless. And I mean, the only tie into it was she was Danny Ocean's sister.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pointless.
Anyway, my number 9 is a movie that Brad's not in a lot. It's another ensemble movie, you could say, but it's The Big Short. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah.
I watched it quite recently because it was one that I hadn't seen, and I didn't much like it.
No, it's like I've watched it probably 5 or 6 times, and I still have no idea what the hell is going on. Even when Margot Robbie's in a tub with bubble baths explaining all the stuff. Yeah. But it fascinates me because these guys are all greedy. But they all know what they're doing. And I think Brad Pitt's the only one that has any kind of morals and any kind of soul, because when the 2 young guys that he's helping, they're there high-fiving each other and whooping because they've gone and made themselves a lot of money. And he says, "What are you doing?" He says, "You do realise that people have lost their lives, people have lost their houses, they've lost their pensions, all because of what you've done." You know, and I think it's a very understated performance from Brad Pitt, but it's really, really good. It shows you just what a good actor he is. He's not just a pretty boy. He's just a really good, solid actor. But yeah, so that's my number 9. Kim, your number 8, please.
Okay, my number 8 is Fight Club.
Oh, that's my number 5.
And that's my number 2.
Oh,
now, of course, I can't ask you to say anything about it because the first rule of Fight Club is we don't talk about Fight Club. So, so Neil, you're number 8. No, I'm only joking.
Yeah, and I can't talk about it because it's the second rule as well.
Yeah, yeah.
At first, when I first watched it, I didn't really understand what was going on. But once I'd grasped the idea with Ed Norton and everything, I did actually find it a good film. Good film.
Yeah,
again,
it's one of those
Brad
unique,
is just
one of those unique kind of movies that when the penny drops, everything makes sense.
Yeah,
you know. But yeah, it's such a good film. Such a good film.
I mean, I'd read the book before the
Of course
film.
you did, Neil. Of course you did.
Well,
Wow.
I'm a little bit of a fan of the
Nerd.
author. Yeah, the author. I've banged on at you about reading a book of his called A Haunted and everything
fuck
like
reading.
But
Fuck
anywho.
after reading is what I say. That was the sequel to Burn After Reading. Yeah.
Fuck after reading.
Yeah.
But I just think it's genius. This is when Fincher was like Christopher Nolan is now. Couldn't do anything wrong. I just honestly, this film, I saw it before because it was still in the time when they released films earlier in America than they did in this country. And I happened to be in America and it was released and I went to see it. And I remember coming back to everybody and was just like, you've got to see this. I think I saw it about 4 times at the cinema in the end.
Wow.
Just because there's so much in it that you will miss.
Yeah.
And it takes numerous watching to see everything. And, you know, I mean, yeah, it's just genius. And
so
a great
cleverly
soundtrack.
shot and the way that certain angles are used. And
he's bloody cool in it.
oh,
Yeah.
He's dressed in the 70s gear and he looks the absolute part.
But that's the thing. I've always said when someone looks like Brad Pitt, they can wear the stupidest things they like and they'll still look cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things when you're that kind of.
We shouldn't take
perfect
away
clothes
how
source.
good Ed Norton is in that.
No,
either.
absolutely. Yes.
I mean, he carries a lot of that movie. And also Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
Just I think the film is brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
And the late Meatloaf with his
I know.
bitch tits. as they call
Bob had bitch tits.
Bob had bitch tits, indeed. Oh, bless you, Meatloaf. Okay, then. Neil, your number 8.
So my number 8 is True Romance. Now I know Brad Pitt's not in there very much, but I think he's so good. I mean, I don't know whether he's just being himself in this, because obviously, famously in the early days, he was a big stoner, so he knew what he was doing. But he's like the comic relief in this movie. And it's great, especially when they all turn up to find out where they are, and he's offering to get them some snacks and everything. But yeah. 10 minutes and he's gone out of that movie, but he's one of the highlights. Yeah. You a fan of this movie?
I didn't have this one on my list. And I think because, like you say, he was only in it for 10 minutes, so I don't really But and I haven't seen that for a little while now.
No, it still holds up. Still holds up. It's the script, isn't
I can
it?
remember watching that and thinking the first time he's gonna get shot in a minute. I think the way they frame it as well, it makes it look like the Italian gangsters or whatever they were are just going to pull guns out and just shoot him where he sits, you know, and he's sort of telling them that he's getting snacks and stuff. But it is a good performance. It definitely
while puffing on his bong.
That's right. Yeah. While puffing on his bong, indeed. Okay, my number 8 is World War Z. Or World War Z, as we could say it in this country. The amount of trouble that they said that this movie was when it was like trying to be. I enjoy watching it again because the fact that Brad Pitt's not trying to be a hero as such. He's just a dad trying to get his family to safety. And it's just a great action film. You know, it's got some really unsettling moments, some really sort of heart-shuddering, heart-stopping moments. But I thoroughly recommend this movie.
But I would thoroughly as well recommend reading the book because it's just as good as... No, genuinely, or listen to the audio book as you like.
I've listened to the audio book. Max Brooks in it.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
It's not really like, I mean, the movie is one slice of what the whole book is, isn't it? It's one little bit. Yeah, I really enjoyed listening to the audiobook
because it basically follows him around the world, which is why I always wish that they always said David Fincher was going to do the sequel, didn't they?
Yeah, but the book was also different people's stories as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. You went around the world.
Just
the one person. I mean, it was interlinked with him. Yeah, because he was going around there. You know, we had the whole bit on the submarine, don't you, in the book and everything like that. So, yeah, highly recommend that. But great film. It was filmed in Glasgow. A lot of
it was. Yeah. Wow. Same place as like Indiana Jones, the new Indiana Jones, and The Flash as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
all shot around there. Yeah. Okay, then Kim, you're number 7.
Okay. Ironically, my number 7 is 7.
Oh, that's my number 4.
Oh, okay. I've rewatched this quite recently as well, and I'd almost forgotten a lot of the things, and obviously Morgan Freeman, fantastic in it as well. And I think another one of the things that I like about Brad Pitt is how he interacts with other actors so well. My other choices later on will reflect this as well, but I think there's a lot of pairings that work really well, and I think Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt was definitely one of those.
Yeah, I mean, this is about as dark as you can get with a
Yes.
movie. There's not many. I'll say there's not many like lighter moments or laughs, but the what's his name? Who was the guy who played like their boss? It's Lee R. Emery or something.
Oh, well,
And he's sat on the desk, and the phone goes, and he picks the phone up and goes, "This ain't even my desk," and he puts the phone back down. That's got a nice little light-hearted moment, but there's not many slivers of light in this very black, dark movie.
Yes.
And I like it even more the fact that it hasn't got a happy ending.
Yeah,
it's got a very downbeat ending, but Neil's not going to say anything about it.
I wonder
because
why.
it's not in his top 10, which is a surprise. But there you go.
Okay.
There you go. But maybe we'll come back to it a little bit later on. Neil, your number 7, please, for number 7.
12 monkeys.
12 monkeys.
Yeah, Brad's performance in this first Oscar nomination, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's fantastic as I can't think of his name actually now on the top of my head, but I love this Terry Gilliam film. I'm a big fan of Terry Gilliam, to be honest, but it's not as straightforward as you think. Bruce Willis again playing against. He was another actor we forget that tried brave things. I mean, you know, bless him. He sort of fell out of favour and became known as an arsehole, but he really did try back then. He did a lot of different things, and 12 Monkeys is one of them. And I love Brad Pitt's crazy performance because it's a restrained crazy performance in a sense.
It is, and I think Kim has frozen. Oh, is she still there? Are you there, Kim?
I'm here. I just I had a burn.
No, Kim. You're breaking up, Kim.
Bless you. We'll wait for you to get your signal back. There's a paused face.
No, you're frozen again. That's better, I think.
Yeah, there we are.
Oh no, frozen again.
Fucking internet.
Is that
Oh, there we go. We sped up then. There we are.
Oh, blimey.
Oh, God.
Is that?
I don't know. You've got to stop working at that call center in India and get somewhere a bit closer. You really have.
It's the other job.
Yeah, it's interfering with us. This scamming you're doing.
So I just say that I've got an aversion to Bruce Willis, and everything goes.
There you go. See, he is part of the Illuminati. You see, so he's.
Yeah, he was listening.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go from, Neil? Have you finished saying what you were going to say about?
Yeah, pretty much. Have you got enough from there?
Yeah, well, I was going to say I haven't. It was probably number 11 or 12 in my list. It's not in my top 10. So, but it's a great performance from.
It's another one I would suggest revisiting as well, especially if they've done a TV series. Now, I've not seen the TV series.
I watched the first episode of that and then just sort of went away from it really.
But I would revisit it because, and we talk about documentaries and that, but there's a fantastic documentary on that. What was that about the hamster wheel, wasn't it?
Yes. Okay, yeah. My number 7 was Ocean's 11.
Okay.
So back to you, Kim, for your number 6, please.
Okay, my number 6 is quite a recent one that I've watched quite a lot, and it's called Bullet Train.
Oh yeah, I watched this for the first time when it dropped on the streaming recently. I quite enjoyed this. This is
a good romp, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good romp.
Yeah. And I think the idea of him sort of coming out of retirement and doing another job and all of that is quite fitting for someone of his years, if you like, now. But it's got everything. It's got some comedy and some action, and you know, the guys in it, the younger guys in it, are really funny as well.
I think
The two Londoners.
Sometimes
Yes.
it tries to
The fruit guys.
Yeah, it tries to
Yeah.
be a little bit too
Yeah.
Tarantino-esque. I think sometimes
Yes.
with like
Yes.
smart little dialogue going in between people. It didn't quite sort of sound.
Yeah.
You know, I think only Tarantino can do that really, really
Yes.
well. But I thought it was a good solid action movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
crazy. Very, very crazy. But yeah, it's a good Brad Pitt.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's saying my internet connection is unstable now. So God knows what is going on.
We've got like I said, we're due this massive thunderstorm.
Oh, I don't know.
could be.
So come on, let's get going so we can get this done.
But a great
Okay,
number
so
6, yeah.
that's your so Neil, your number 6.
Interview with the Vampire. I think it's a great movie. I love the movie. I know that Brad Pitt didn't enjoy filming it, and he does come across very upset and miserable in it. But I still think he comes across well because it's perfect for him to feel like that in the character that he is. But
Great hair,
great hair, great hair, great film. And this I don't think is aged at all badly. It's pretty brutal. That whole bit with Antonio Banderas in the circus. Nasty, but I don't think they'd film something like that now. Genuinely.
They probably wouldn't. No.
I haven't seen it for a long, long time, I must admit.
No, I haven't seen it for a long time.
But yeah, I've watched it recently, and it really all holds up. And little Kirsten Dunst in it is so good.
Wow.
So good in that film.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very good film.
That's a good one. My number 6 is the tank movie, is Fury.
Great movie.
And that is, I mean, it's visceral. It's very, very violent. You're looking at sort of the same sort of thing as Saving Private Ryan. It's that kind of thing. But again, an amazing cast. I mean, Shia LaBeouf is amazing in this movie.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of people saying that he's weird and stuff like that. I think he had his front tooth removed, or one of his teeth removed, so that he'd have a tooth like missing.
Wow.
John Bernthal as well. I think he's a great actor. I really like John Bernthal. Logan Lerman is another one that was in it.
He is.
Who was the other guy? Wasn't there another guy? Oh, I forget his name. He was in Ant-Man and stuff like that, wasn't he?
Yeah, sort of the Latin American guy.
I can never remember his name.
Something.
Michael Pena, that's it. Michael Pena. But it's a great World War II movie. But it's so vicious. It is so puts you right in the middle of the blood, the guts, and the mud and the dirt of what it must be like to be just in that. And it's unbelievable. You think that people actually did that kind of stuff. So I mean, I'm surprised.
You feel grubby with them, don't you?
Yeah, you do. I'm surprised it's not in your top 10 then, Neil. I must admit.
Oh, it sort of flitted around, but I am a big fan of it. Yeah, I do really like this movie. And you're going about Shia LaBeouf, and he got a lot of criticism for doing like this method acting thing.
Yeah.
They never used to do that to Nicolas Cage, who did the same sort of thing. And
I think he's an easy target. I think he really is.
And they forget he's such a good bloody actor, isn't he?
He is fantastic. Okay, but we're halfway through. We never did this for your other performance with us, Kim. It's time for this
pop quiz, hot shot.
Yes, we've got a quiz. So they're all Brad Pitt quiz questions. We may well have come across some of the answers for some of these. What we've been talking about.
Now I was going to say.
You just glitched.
My turn,
the Matrix glitched.
God Almighty! If we get through this episode, it will be a miracle.
It'll be a miracle.
Yeah. So it's first one to 3, Kim. Okay. And if you get the question wrong, it goes over to your opponent for a bonus point. So Kim, you are our guest. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
Okay. In what Kevin Costner movie did Brad play an uncredited party guest?
Ooh, was that the Robin Hood one?
Was not. No.
No.
What Kevin Costner? Oh, The Bodyguard.
It wasn't. It was No
It wasn't
Way.
Waterworld, was it?
No, it was No Way
hang on then.
Out. It was No
Oh,
Way Out.
no.
Okay. All right, back in 87.
It was. Okay, then, Neil.
Ooh,
Brad
wow.
starred with which Ocean's 11 co-star in The Mexican?
Julia Roberts.
Is correct. It was Julia Roberts. Kim,
Yeah.
which movie did Brad turn down so he could appear in Seven?
Was that the Apollo one?
Apollo what?
13?
Is correct, which was
Yeah.
one of Neil's facts. Which I
Yeah, it
didn't
was.
know.
Yeah.
Neil, who did
Yep.
Brad pay $29 million to in a divorce settlement?
Unfortunately, it wasn't
Ooh.
me.
No.
Or me.
Which one? I'll go Angelina Jolie.
It was
It's the other
not.
one then, isn't it? Go, Kim.
It was Jennifer Aniston.
It was Jennifer Aniston. So,
Yeah.
Jennifer. So, Kim.
Easy mistake to make.
Kim,
Obviously.
yes. For your chance to win, this is you get this
Okay.
right, you've won.
Yeah.
Moneyball was a movie set in the world of which sport?
Might be baseball.
It was.
Yay!
Well done, Kim. Well done, Kim. I only had 2 other questions left as well, so that was a good job you got it. The other one was, how many times has Brad been voted sexiest man alive according to People magazine?
Christ.
Oh my God.
10.
More than that. 20.
It's only twice.
Oh, really?
Only
What?
And what movie that Brad has been in has been his biggest box office success?
Oh. Wow.
7?
Was it World War Z?
It was not. It was Deadpool
Ah.
2.
Oh,
No.
He was
Christ,
only in
yeah.
it for like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
5
blink and you
seconds.
miss him.
But it was
Yeah.
a bit of a trick question, so I
Ah.
apologise for that. A bit of a trick
Okay.
question. Anyway, back to the job in hand. And Kim, what's your number 5, please?
Okay, for me, number 5 is another one of more recent years. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's
Oh.
my number 2.
And that's my number 3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this. I thought when I first watched it, I thought, oh, it's a bit long and I don't know if I really get it. But now, yes, I really like it. I've seen it again quite recently.
Such a good movie.
Yes.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
It really is. Everybody is so strong in their game in
Yeah.
this film.
Yeah.
And I love the way that Tarantino is completely fucked with Hollywood as well.
Yeah.
I love it. He
Yeah.
did it with World War II and he's done it with this. He does it with everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I loved it. Loved it.
And it showed, I mean, again, it was only a couple of years ago that it was made, wasn't it? But Brad with his shirt off, I mean, you can't beat that for a start. And he's just so good. I mean, when he has his fight with Bruce Lee,
Yeah.
when he's at the end, when he's had that, I think, what was it? It was a cigarette laced with
LSD.
LSD, yeah.
And then Charles Manson's family come knocking at his door and he just laughs at them. And
I know.
it's just so good. It's just such a good performance. And he won the Oscar for that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won the Oscar for that and thoroughly
Deservedly
deserved.
so.
Well
Yeah.
deserved, yeah.
But it's such a well written movie as well.
Oh, that's a great one. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Go on then, Neil, you're number 5.
Inglorious Bastards, talking about Tarantino. Another one, World War II one for him, but he's the push jaw. That
he's the what?
He's got that push jaw, hasn't he, forward when he talks in this one.
He's like Bubba. You go,
yeah, because he's not a nice character at all in this one. I know you don't feel you're not supposed to feel sympathy for the Nazis or whatever, but
no,
he is a brutal bastard in this, and a great ensemble cast.
Yes,
he's got a job to do. That's all he's got to do. And to be fair, it's the same kind. That character's cut from the same cloth as the guy who plays in Fury. Yeah, it's like their job is to go there and kill Nazis. That's their only job. They're not there to do anything else, and they're both exactly the same. But I think there's obviously a slight sort of comedic turn
there is
with the one in Inglourious Bastards, which is what Tarantino does a lot. Well, it's like 1 minute you're laughing, the next minute you're carrying behind your hands because you don't want to see what's going to happen. And I think he's a lot like that.
he's scalping the Nazis, isn't
Yeah.
it? Which is a throwback, obviously, to what the Indians used to do to the,
That's right.
Yeah.
Native Americans. Let's get that right.
Yeah. Come on, Neil.
But and I think it was a throwback to that and that sort of Western visualization of the brutality of it. That's what I was going to say. But yeah, what a film! What a film! It starts with one of the best opening of a movie as ever.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
This is I think this is probably Tarantino's strongest opening, with just Christoph Waltz in that wood hut
At the farmhouse.
Yeah.
at the farmhouse, and then how that turns is just brilliant.
Yeah. Thoroughly deserved. Okay, my number 5 is Fight Club. So we've already spoken about that. So Kim, what's your number 4?
Okay. Before I mentioned about great partnerships with Brad Pitt, my number 4 is Legends of the Fall with Anthony Hopkins. Both great actors, and in this film in particular, I think their relationship is really, really heartwarming.
And stunning hair.
And that's another one with
stunning hair. But it's in this one,
long hair, isn't it? Yeah,
this
smoldering good looks.
This is the front of a Mills and Boon book.
Yeah, definitely.
Smoldering look. Yeah. And also the wonderful Julia Ormond, who disappeared completely.
Yes.
Stunning.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
And isn't Elliot from ET in
Yes,
that?
Elliot from ET is one of his other brothers. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
God, it's been a long time since I've seen that film as well.
Yeah,
me too, actually. But it was. I always remember it being a good film. Yeah. Seen this? Am I the only one?
No, I've not seen this.
I have, but again, a while ago. It's a long movie.
This is a long movie, but
it never fails to bore.
It never fails to, it just...
It always bores you, you mean?
Yeah, no, don't twist it. I've got my words wrong. But you know what I mean?
The night's going, mate. It's just...
It is. It is. But it's... I think this is fantastic, this movie. And it's a great performance from him. Very realistic. They got a lot of complaints about the snakehead beheading in that, which wasn't real. It's not real. What's his name? Affleck. Casey Affleck.
Casey.
Oh, he's so good in this. So good as well. But it's the fact that at the end of the film, obviously Brad Pitt's playing Jesse James. It's just the story of what happened and how he was shot, and killed. No spoiler there. We all know that.
Well, the title is in the title, man.
Yeah.
But when they morph Brad Pitt as Jesse James in the coffin at the end, it morphs into the real picture of Jesse James. You'll be surprised how close they
Wow.
Really? I didn't see that bit. I can't remember.
Did you not?
Bit. No.
Oh, right at the very end when the titles go up.
Oh, right. No.
Watch it again.
No, it's probably asleep.
3 hours.
Probably asleep by
if
then.
you got to spare 3 hours,
Yeah, that's the only problem with this movie. It's long, but I think it's what you're rewarded by it. Like I said, I wasn't bored at all in this film, and I've watched it a few times now and never have been bored since watching it. I think they did a fantastic job on this movie.
Okay.
That's why it's so high.
Very good. Okay. My number 4 was 7. So it's your number 3 then, Kim.
Okay. My number 3 is a film that I think it was Neil that had mentioned it. The Mexican. Yeah, with Julia Roberts. I really like Brad Pitt in this one.
So what is it? I've never
the
seen
idea
it. Is it what is it? Is it a comedy or?
It's a slight rom-com, but
it's a slight rom-com. Brad's girlfriend is abducted, or however you want to say it. He has to go find her, and all that happens along the way, kind of thing.
Right.
There's a great scene with a pickup truck and a dog, and it's all great. Yeah. And a Volkswagen Beetle. Yeah.
I watched it only once years ago. I remember bits of it. I remember feeling very hot while I watched it. It's one of those sweaty ones because obviously they're deep in Mexico. And quite dusty and sort of. I can't remember a lot about the story though.
So was this pre Ocean's 11 or post Ocean's?
It's about 2001, I think. 2002, maybe a bit. It was early 2000s. This one came out. Yeah.
Yeah, never really got saw it at all. Yeah.
Yeah, because they always said it was like the perfect marriage.
Yep.
Two big actors, but alas, it didn't do what they wanted it to do at the box office. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. So Neil, your number 3 was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. My number 3 is Snatch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my number 2.
That's your number 2.
I'll fight you for your shoes.
And I'm surprised, Neil, that's not in your top 10. I must admit.
I like it. I'm not a huge fan of Snatch.
Wow.
Again, it's a British version of Tarantino, isn't it? Guy Ritchie did that, and you could tell that was that. But it had to be high in my top 10 just for Brad Pitt's performance,
acting in it. Yes,
because
absolutely.
he is absolutely fantastic in this.
Oh, there's no denying that. He throws himself into it, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think they said that the reason that he took an Irish accent was because he couldn't do an English accent.
That's right.
So he decided to do, and there's loads of times when you have no idea what he's saying, which is the comedy of it. But and I think this was around Fight Club, wasn't it? Because he still had the Fight Club body.
Yes. Yeah.
In this, when he was doing the bare knuckle boxing and
when
stuff.
he did,
But such a good performance, and I think for me, I think it's my favorite. Oh shit, what's the name of the guy? The Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah.
But it is so cut from the same cloth as Tarantino.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it kind of sometimes is almost like he's almost making a parody of a Tarantino movie, rather than just doing his own
thing. And a Cockney Gangsters. That's what used to wind me up a little bit. It was a bit too all right.
Yeah.
And that was a bit too much for me. But I do agree, Brad Pitt's performance is very good.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'll fight you for your shoes.
Yes. Yeah, it's when he says they're negotiating about a caravan, aren't they?
That's right.
And Jason Statham says, if you think we're going to spend money on some tart's caravan, and the sound effects go zoom, and it's like a close up of Brad Pitt and his family. Like, I wasn't calling your mum a tart, no. Oh, and then I need to shite. That was the great the great quote. Okay, so that was my number 3. So Kim, Snatch is your number 2.
Yes,
Neil,
it is. Yep.
Fight Club is your number 2. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is my number 2. So before we reveal our number 1s, Kim, do you want to give us a rundown?
A rundown
of 10 to 2, and then Neil will do the same, and then I'll do the same.
Okay, so for me then, at number 10, it's Thelma and Louise. Burn After Reading comes in at number 9. Fight Club at number 8. And at number 7 is 7. Bullet Train is my number 6. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is my number 5. Legends of the Fall, number 4. The Mexican at number 3. And Snatch at number 2.
Lovely. Neil?
So at number 10, I had Babel or Babel. Number 9, Ocean's 11. Number 8, True Romance. Number 7, 12 Monkeys. Number 6, Interview with a Vampire. Number 5, Inglourious Bastards. Number 4, The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Number 3, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Number 2, Fight Club.
Lovely. And mine is number 10, Moneyball. 9, The Big Short. 8, World War Z. 7, Ocean's 11. 6, Fury. 5, Fight Club. 4, 7. 3, Snatch. And 2, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So, Kim, what is your number 1 Brad Pitt movie?
I'm afraid I've gone really girly on this one. And for me, my favourite, the ultimate Brad Pitt movie is Meet Joe Black.
Okay.
Even with the most brutal car crash ever recorded in film.
Yes. It's weird because I like the idea that the Grim Reaper's coming to get us, and if it looks like Brad Pitt, that's fine by me. I love I love the whole boy meets girl thing, and the way that he comes off as quite vulnerable in a lot of ways in this film, like when the servants introduce him to peanut butter and stuff like that. It's just a fab film.
It's a Martin Brest film again, isn't it? We spoke about Martin Brest, was it?
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago. So Yeah, it's a film by him. It's a
I have
long
to admit
film,
as well,
though, isn't
I've
it?
never seen
It is
this
a long film.
I've
Yeah.
never seen this film either. So
No.
I know. So I'm assuming Brad Pitt.
Anthony
Brad
Hopkins
Pitt,
again. So
yeah, Brad Pitt plays Death, does he?
yes,
Right.
yes, and he's sent to Earth to take um a very rich businessman played by Anthony Hopkins. He kind of embeds himself within the family in order to do this, ends up falling in love with Anthony Hopkins' daughter. And, there's twists and turns in the whole business thing. And yeah, it's just a great watch.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Brad Pitt looks absolutely amazing in it.
Yeah, he has that. I've seen the clip where he gets hit by the cars, and that is pretty vicious. But then he's also got very nice blonde hair, hasn't he? So yeah.
Yes.
Start swooning in a minute.
Oh yes, indeed. That's a good one. Then I will try and hunt that one down and watch that, because I've seen clips of it and I've never ever sat to actually watch the whole thing. Go on then, Neil. Your number one is 7.
It is 7. We all know it's 7. We talk crazily when we talk films on here that, we talk about what we say is a perfect movie. This to me is a perfect movie. It's got a perfect story. It's fucking well written. It revolutionized the serial killer thing completely, because everybody wanted to copy it afterwards. Yeah. Right up to what Saw is. Like you said before, it's so refreshing to see Hollywood not back down. Not be taken over the movie, and they have the unhappy ending, which is completely fitting with the movie.
The bad guy wins. The bad guy wins.
And that is refreshing to see, especially in the way they did it. And performance-wise, just brilliant. And of course, he met Gwyneth Paltrow on there, didn't he? And he helped her as well. He likes his leading ladies, doesn't he?
He certainly does. There you go, Kim. All you need to do is get in a movie with him, look, and you'll be fine.
No, that's all I need to do.
You could have 7-2. No, that wouldn't work. 14.
14. Yeah, 14. Yeah.
Get away from that call center and get on the movie set.
Right in the script. But it is. I think it's well. And again, it's not aged. Yeah. And right from the downpour of the opening, where he's the rookie, the new detective in the precinct. It never stops raining until we get John Doe out into the desert, and we forget how good Kevin Spacey is in this film.
Yeah. Kind of not allowed to talk about him anymore, really, are you?
Well, we are, because he was proved innocent. So,
but was he?
Well, what's the point of being proved innocent if he's not going to be?
Can you believe the courts? I don't know. Okay. My number one is Inglourious Bastards. That's my number one. We have spoken about it already. It's another great ensemble movie, but I think Brad Pitt again plays. He's the star. He's the man of the match, if you like, of the whole show, because he just lifts up. Even though what he does is horrific, there's that slight glint in his eye, and there's some funny little bits as well when he's trying to learn. He's trying to pass over as an Italian filmmaker. Isn't
the
he?
Italian bit is really funny,
and he's still got his American accent. The strong whatever it is part of the America that he's from. Yeah. Okay, we got a few honourable mentions. Maria Pereira, hello Maria, says Inglourious Bastards and Ocean's 11. Stu Grant, in no particular order, 7, Fight Club, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, The Mexican, California, and 12 Monkeys. And I know it doesn't count, but the episode of Freddy's Nightmares he was in as well. There you go. Corinne Pasta said there are a few of my faves: Ocean's 11, Legends of the Fall, 7 Years in Tibet, and Thelma and Louise. Lisa Buchanan says A River Runs Through It.
That's a good film, actually.
Yeah, she says, true story, my grandfather...
Was Kevin Bacon in that?
I know that.
Or was that River Runs Wild?
That was the River Runs Wild,
yeah.
Lisa carries on. A true story, my grandfather was friends with the person his character was based on.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Interview with a Vampire.
Wow.
I wouldn't mind being bit by him. You know what I mean, she says. Ocean's 11, he ate his way through the entire film. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Rick Tyndall said, I loved Meet Joe Black, but but that was more for Sir Anthony Hopkins' performance. I'm actually surprised how many movies of his I haven't seen. I need to watch a few. I'll abstain for the more knowledgeable movie watchers. Thank you, Rick. Jennifer Perret Light said Fight Club. Janine Bender said Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Mark Di Natale said, I don't have a favourite per se, but I do like him in Inglourious Bastards, but hands down, greatest small part is in True Romance. And Kim Mendes said Thelma and Louise, Legends of the Fall, and Seven. Well, we managed to get through it.
We did.
We managed to get through it. This is going to take a hell of a lot of editing, but we might get a half-hour episode out of it. but we still we did it. Before the storm came, we did it. So
we did.
Before we actually say our goodbyes and our thank yous, Neil, tell everybody how they can get in touch with this shite show of a gubbins.
You all did very well.
Thank you, Mr. Granger.
You can find us on all
No, Mr. Grace, wasn't it?
I was going to say Mr. Granger.
Who the fuck is Mr. Granger?
I don't know, but Mr. Grace is looking around. Oh,
yep, Kim's off already. She's gone.
No, I'm not gone, am I?
Yeah, you disappeared
your
for a
name
minute.
just came up then.
Yeah,
It's going to fucking shit.
But if you want to follow all this mad mayhem, you can find us on all the social medias at Top 10 Pods. Give us a click, give us a like, give us a follow. Email us at top10pods@hotmail.com with any questions or suggestions you may have. Come and help support the podcast at patreon.com/wonderful Kim. Check out all of the links via the link tree. You can find the link in the show notes. And please do come subscribe, leave a review, rating, wherever you get your podcast from.
Wonderful. And Neil, well done for not wanting to have a shit or puke in this episode. Well done.
Oh, that was bad last week.
That was bad last week.
Oh,
but well
dear.
done.
I felt
well
awful.
done.
I went to bed straight after. I felt awful. I had a touch of the dicky tummy, and I had to, right in the middle, I had to say to Bev and the guest, I had to say, I'm so sorry. You're going to have to give me a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I'm feeling rather unwell. And I did. I was as sick as a dog.
I'm gonna try and go and sort my computer out. Neil is gonna go to bed again. Kim's gonna finish her shift at the call
I'm
center.
gonna go and
Well, I'm gonna might actually have something to eat first.
Oh right, okay.
Before
Well,
I
Kim,
go to
thank
bed.
you for joining us again.
No, thank you guys.
And we will
Always
try
a
not to
pleasure.
make it too long next time, and we'll make sure that all of our technical issues are sorted and there's no problems. And but thank you very much for your support as always. You're an absolute peach.
You're welcome.
You are.
Bless
Thank
your
you very
heart.
much,
Bless.
Kim. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And great
All
to see
right.
you again.
Great to
And
see you. So,
you,
yeah, so
and you.
thank you, Neil.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you very much, everybody, for
Thank
watching and
you.
listening. And let's go start the countdown.
10,